Hey everyone, Steven here, and today I'm reviewing the Halo Infinite mouse from Razer. The new lineup launched a couple weeks ago, and if you watched my impressions video or just looked at the specs on Razer's website, then you know these are the Halo aesthetics, more specifically Master Chief's armor, on top of a product that Razer already makes. So these aren't built from the ground up, which isn't something they necessarily need to do, as the products they've chosen to do this with are really good in my opinion, but it also means the extra price tag here is going to be hard to justify for most people, and I think Razer and 343 Studios knows this, meaning this is really geared towards hardcore Halo fans. I personally would consider myself to be one, as I got the original Xbox at launch with Halo and have been following the games and other world building content like the comics, books, and shows since then. So for me, the $554 price tag for the whole lineup after taxes was worth it, but for most people that's going to be a hard sell. With all of that being said, I'm going to be approaching this from a hardcore fan perspective, as I'm assuming if you're even watching this video, you are as well. So let's get into the main part of this video now, as I'll be reviewing the mouse and Goliath Mousepad today. The mouse specifically is probably my favorite product out of the lineup, so let's start there first, and I figured the mousepad didn't warrant a whole video review by itself, and it makes more sense to include it with the mouse anyways. So let's start with the specs and then talk about the good and the bad here. The mouse is the DeathAdder V2, which is $79.99 for the Halo version and $69.99 for the regular version, making this the smallest jump in price from its normal price tag when compared to the other peripherals in this lineup. This is a right-handed mouse, and I don't see an option for a left-handed mouse, which is going to be a bummer for those needing that. I'm surprised they didn't just go with an ambidextrous mouse here to play it safe. In terms of specs, this has the Razer optical mouse switch, which uses an infrared light beam to register every click, giving this a response time of 0.2 milliseconds. This has the Focus Plus optical sensor with 20K DPI with 99.6% resolution accuracy. This has the Razer Smart Tracking, which allows the mouse to be able to automatically calibrate itself across different mouse surfaces. This has 650 IPS, which stands for inches per second, and is translated to the maximum distance the mouse can cover per second before its ability to continue tracking is surpassed. This has instinctive scroll wheel tactility, 8 programmable buttons, 100% PTFE mouse feet, and advanced onboard memory. The cable here is the SpeedFlex cable, which is a threaded cable and one of the things I really need if I'm going to game on a wired mouse. No thick rubber cables for me, they just feel clunky and affect my gaming. For the aesthetics, this has something special that the other products don't have, and that's gold on it. The gold is the Chief's visor color, and here we find it on the 2 side buttons and the top DP cycle buttons. The lighting on the scroll wheel and for the 117 on the palm fits perfectly also. For gaming, this has been great, and as I mentioned early in the video, I would say out of all the peripherals as an overall package, this is probably my favorite. It feels great in the hand and moves nicely on the mousepad, although not quite as quick as a hard surface mousepad, which I usually prefer. The palm style grip cups my hand nicely and is my preferred grip style, and all the buttons have a nice click and feel to them. With that being said, let's go ahead and do a sound test really quick. I personally love the sound of the buttons, and they all have a great feel to their tactile click. I haven't noticed any delays, false pickups, or unregistered clicks here, so performance is top notch. Moving on, let's cover what you can do with the Razer Synapse 3.0 software. The software lets you customize the buttons, change the lighting, the DPI settings, and calibrate the mouse to the surface you are on. The customizations here are pretty standard with what you will find with major brands, but the 2 things I want to highlight are the custom lighting options and surface calibration. For the custom lighting, you can create your own lighting schemes and effects using the Razer Chroma Studio. Now there are presets that you can use if you don't want to mess with this in the Chroma Studio, but if you do want to take your lighting to the next level, there are lots of options here for you to work with. The Chroma Studio would take me a whole separate video to cover, which if you want to see, let me know in the comment section, as I won't be doing that here. Now before I get into the effects in Chroma, I do want to cover the special lighting effects Razer created for these peripherals since the Halo multiplayer launched during my writing of this script on the 20th anniversary of the Xbox and the launch of Halo Combat Evolved. The lighting is really cool as it illuminates for different things like when your shield is depleted, when it's recharging, when you die, or with certain things like getting into a turret. It has a cool effect when it's just sitting there also, and I think Razer did a phenomenal job with this. I'll have a video link in the description if you guys want to watch a longer video showcasing these effects as well. Moving on though, there are 3 things I do want to cover in the Chroma Studio. The first is the extra lighting effects available to you, which you can apply to your whole setup as long as it's a Razer peripheral, which makes it so easy compared to selecting each peripheral separately and applying the settings that you want. Second is the ambient awareness, which takes the colors from a preset zone on your screen or a zone you specifically set and replicates those colors with the lighting on the peripheral. I'm a little let down by this as it doesn't actually do a good job of replicating these colors as they seem washed out or not even close to the actual colors, which is weird. Now there is a slider that you can actually use that makes this either more blurry or sharp that does affect this a little bit, but regardless of that, it doesn't look quite as good as I think it could, especially when looking at other brands like Logitech's screen sampling, which does a really good job with this. So I wish you had the ability to make this brighter and the colors more pronounced, and then it would be much better in my opinion. You can see it decently in a dark room, but it'll be much harder to see compared to other options when the lights are on in your room. And last here we have the ability to actually stack these effects if you want, which can either turn into chaos or you can create some really cool effects. The last thing that I want to cover in the Razer Synapse software, not the Chroma Studio, just the regular software, is the surface calibration, which is nice to have because there is an obvious difference between surface types, and I usually play on a hard surface. So moving over to the Goliath Cloth Mousepad has been an adjustment, and I'll take any assistance to make sure my gaming feels consistent. Overall, this is a great mouse. The aesthetics and performance are top notch with some amazing lighting options, and I honestly don't have any big negatives to speak of. I do however have a couple things I wish they would do though, like making an ambidextrous and a wireless version of this mouse. I know there are probably a couple left-handed players out there that won't be able to use this mouse, and having an ambidextrous version just makes sure they have a version they can use, and I personally like using ambidextrous mice if they have a good feel to them in my palm. I currently use the Logitech G Pro ambidextrous mouse on my main rig, and this mouse is actually replacing my Razer Viper Pro, which is an ambidextrous wireless mouse. In terms of wishing this was a wireless mouse, I just prefer to have less clutter on my desk, and although the cable here is light, it's still a cable sitting on my desk, and I'd be willing to pay $30 to $50 extra to have a wireless option. They did this for Cyberpunk 2077 with the Razer Viper Ultimate, so I know it can be done. Moving on though, we have the Razer Goliath Extended Chroma Mousepad. The Halo version is $79.99 and the normal version is $59.99. There isn't a smaller size of this mousepad like the regular one, it only comes in the extended version, which is 36.22 inches wide and 11.57 inches tall with a micro-textured cloth surface. This doesn't come in a hard surface, which I personally prefer, but having said that, this does feel really good playing games, and I haven't had any issues with it. This is plenty big to have all of your Halo peripherals on it at once, and definitely completes the overall look of this lineup. We have Master Chief's armor on the right hand side of the mousepad with his 117 emblem on it for your mouse to sit on top of. This allows the mouse and keyboard 117 to match the mousepad, and you'll find a UNSC symbol on the left hand corner matching the UNSC symbol on your keyboard and headset if you place it there when you're not using it. You have 5 lighting presets in the software to adjust the light bar that's along the edge of the whole mousepad, or more advanced lighting in Chroma Studio. For the positives here, I think the aesthetics and performance are great. The light bar here is subtle and doesn't try to outdo the rest of the lineup and acts to highlight it instead, which I prefer. The software of course allows you to adjust the lighting, but that's about it. You can use the Chroma Studio to enable more advanced lighting options as I mentioned. The big thing here is you can sync this across all the different peripherals outside of the headset. That's something I have not mentioned yet. It's something that I kind of knocked the headset for in my impressions video, and it's something that I'll be making sure that I talk about in the review, It doesn't work for that, although you're not really going to be looking at the lighting on the headset. And with this, when you have the special lighting that Razer has created for Halo Infinite, I think the mouse pad wraps everything up really nicely with this. And I like the fact that it does actually translate to that and not just the mouse and keyboard. For the downsides, I think the price is a bit steep here for a mouse pad in general, even for the regular version of this. I think the regular version would be more competitively priced at $39.99 and this at $59.99. It would be difficult to do, but a hard surface version of this would be nice also. I'm all about having more options for products like this to meet everyone's needs. I do understand that's financially risky for a company and that logistically that might be hard to do, but I hope down the road it's something the company does with offering more variations on their licensed products. So to wrap everything up here, I think the mouse and mouse pad are big wins for the Razer Halo lineup, and as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the mouse specifically is my favorite peripheral out of the lineup. If you're cool with a wired mouse and a cloth mouse pad, then these are no-brainers if you're a huge Halo fan. And as I've mentioned a couple times throughout this video, the new lighting that they did specifically for this game is incredible, and I hope you get to see it in person. If there's anything I didn't cover in the video, let me know in the comment section and I'll answer that for you there. I'll actually have a link for these products as well in the description so you can pick those up if you want to. If you like the video, hit the like button for me. If you want to continue to follow along with all of my content, like the upcoming reviews for the Halo headset and keyboard, hit the subscribe button for me. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.